Well, BenRiach is a really innovative, experimental place. You have, right from the very beginning, you have operating floor malting here, one of only two in Speyside. And then when you're doing the mashing, they actually add an extra water to what most places do. They actually do 4 waters here, gradually raising the temperature to pull out more sugars from the barley. Then in the still house you have 3 different types of spirit being made, which is very unusual for one distillery. You have a classic Speyside style, you have a peated style using Highland peat within the malting, and then you have a triple distilled style as well. And then you move into the warehouse and you've got an eclectic mix of all these different types of cask, from different sizes, but also different origins of where the casks have come from and what's been in them before. I think people are still discovering that is a thing. Traditionally, most Speyside or Highland whiskies would have had some element of peat. It was the natural fuel source. So of course, when you're making your malted barley, you have to dry it, and the fuel source was peat. But BenRiach restarted this in 1972, actually making this peated spirit for a short period every year. So it's really the longest that any distillery has been making peated whiskey in Speyside. For example, the Curiositas 10 was the first peated whiskey from Speyside to be released since the Second World War. Well, yeah, you just look around, you walk in, and it's almost like no other warehouse that you go into. You can walk into other warehouses and you see like regimented lines of all casks the same size, same shape, same style. Whereas here you've got a mix of different origins of cask. You've got a mix of what liquid has been in there before. For example, behind me there's some Moscatel dessert wine casks, but there's also things like Madeira, rum, red wine, some virgin oak casks in here as well, on top of the more traditional casks like bourbon or Oloroso or Pedro Jimenez sherry. My go-to BenRiach dram is probably 9 times out of 10 is the Curiositas 10-year-old. I think just because it presents something that's very different in the Speyside category. It has this lovely sort of mid-range level of peat. It's quite soft because they use the Highland peat within the malting process. So it just gives this slightly gentler, sort of almost more floral type of smoke than you tend to get from some of your more famous smoky whiskies.